Okay, everybody. So here we are, group call number 6. And what I wanted to talk about today is basically a methodology about how to get things done in a group. One of the problems that entrepreneurs have, one of the challenges that we face, is that living the entrepreneur life can be very solitary. Even when you have people working for you, those people are really subordinates and aren't really peers as much as we'd like them to be. Very often they are people who you cannot fully open up to, and you got to be their boss. So when you're faced with that kind of challenge, that presents itself in a lot of different ways. And one way in which it presents itself is that it makes it hard at times for you to be able to find the focus to get things done. Also, for those of us who work alone, we face challenges where we work alone and we're unable to be as efficient as we'd like to be because there's so many distractions. Life is one big distraction. So about a year and a half ago, a friend of mine who I was working with at the time introduced me to this methodology where you work in sprints, and you can work in a group, but you can work in sprints to get things done in a concentrated period of time, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever you choose. By measuring your goals, by setting concrete goals, and by measuring your energy during their time of work, you can get a lot done. So right now, I'm going to walk you through how to do this, walk you through the form, and basically give you some ideas about how to use this form in your business to accomplish your goals, particularly if you are a solopreneur or you have a limited staff. Okay, so let me share my screen, and I'm going to where am I going to go? Hold on, let me go back here. I'm going to step out of this one. I know this is very glamorous. I should have planned this out ahead of time, but there we go. Okay, I found it now. Let me go back to Zoom, and I'm going to share my screen. And boom. Okay. Here we go. So here's the work cycles. And what I can do and what I will do is I will make this available in the Facebook group. And this is a Google Doc. And this is obviously a template. So it allows you to change the times across the top to whatever you need them to be. But the idea being that you would set aside somewhere around 3 to 4 hours. Beyond that, it's not as useful. It's harder. You reach the point of, what do they call it? The point of diminishing returns. So I have spoken before about the Pomodoro technique. I have a video on that, and I can make that video available to you. It's part of my Productive Vacations. It's one of the extra courses in my Productive Vacations course, where I basically say that if you are working, you got to take a break. And whatever that time is, it used to be that people would use an egg timer or something like that. But at a minimum, every hour, you got to stop and get up and walk around. When I was working in law firms, I used to call it my victory lap, and I would literally just walk around the office, just sort of change the blood flow, get a drink of water, break free of what you're thinking about, and then I could come back and be very concentrated on what I was thinking about. So with regard to this, the idea here is that those periods are a whole lot shorter. So as you can see from across this, you can see that it looks like it's a 40-minute cycle. So that's really 30 minutes on and then 10 minutes off. And if you do that, what you'll find is that if you follow this process, you will find that by setting defined goals, you can get a lot done. Now, what I would suggest to you is when you are really working this, is that at the end of the day, you really only seek to do one thing by the time you're finished with all of it, and just see how far you get. Don't try to come in and say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. But this will hold you accountable. So, okay. So for example, what I would suggest you do is you want to set an overall goal of where you want to be. Say, for example, and I'm going to pick something relatively mundane. You've got a bunch of credit cards or credit card options available to you, but you're really looking to evaluate the different credit cards that you've got, and you're trying to find a lowest price option. So what are you trying to accomplish during this cycle? Well, you literally go to this little area here and you type in, I want to find the best options available. Now, notice, this does not say I want to evaluate them. I just want to find them. How will I get started? Well, Google searches, just to pick something. The level of detail that you want to have here, you don't want to spend a lot of time with this. Remember, you only have 40 minutes total. You want to spend at most 5 minutes doing it coming in and 5 minutes coming out. Are there hazards present? No, not really. How do I feel in terms of my energy and morale? These are two different things. My energy is high, my morale medium. I'm only kind of feeling like doing this. And so then you begin the cycle. You work this for 20, 30 minutes, see what's going on here, see how far you get. Let's say in that 20, 30 minutes, you do a couple of searches. You're able to, I'm going to pull back from this for a second and go here. See, in those 20, 30 minutes, you do a couple of searches. You find a couple of interesting sites. You make notes. You worry about what the final form is going to be. And then at the end of the 20 to 30 minutes, as you're getting close to the goal, you go back to this sheet, go back to the sheet, and now you come here. And you say, okay, we've now gone through 30 minutes of this. It's now, let's say in this example, we started at 2:30. Let's say it's about 3 o'clock. Was the goal completed? Yes, I completed searches. Were there any distractions? Now here, be honest, because I'm going to tell you, if you do all of these all the way across, and you don't say that there are distractions along the way, you are lying to yourself, because there are going to be distractions. The whole point is to see what they are. So maybe in this first section, the answer is no. Things to improve for the next cycle. Well, now I need to evaluate the options. Or maybe I just need to evaluate 3 of them. Let's not get crazy. And here's the thing. Don't spend a lot of time trying to get this exact. But what you do now is you take this information, and again, your energy level. Let's say I still feel high, but now I'm feeling a little inspired. High again. You go up here, and in that same 10-minute span, if you think about it, it's a 40-minute block. So 5 minutes in, 30 minutes work, 5 minutes out, then 5 minutes into the next one. So that at the end, it's a 10-minute span. You go up here to the top and say, I want to evaluate my credit card options. What am I going to do? How do I get started? Reading the websites and external reviews. External reviews. Are there hazards present? Yes. Distractions on the internet. Just to give you an idea of how this can all come together. Hopefully your energy is the same as it was down below. If not, note it. And then you begin another period. And as you work through these, by the time you get through this, whenever I've done this, I usually find that the project that I've chosen, and I always try to pick small and get through it, but I usually find that if I'm focused like this, I get through the project pretty quickly. I finish the project, and then I'm looking for other things to work on or other nuances, or I'm looking to get to a logical stopping point, which can be the hazard that's present during this project. So it can be that by the time I get to this block and the 5, 10, the last cycle, as I'm trying to wrap up, the hazard is finding the logical stopping point or making some phone calls that I need to make or whatever it is. Now here's the kicker. This is all fine and good if you are sufficiently resilient to do it yourself. The real power of this is to have a friend doing it with you. Now, there are several levels to working with someone on this. You can send them this form and they can fill it out, and you can fill it out at the same time. And you can keep all that information to yourself, because maybe it's something proprietary that you're looking at. Maybe it's something, some sort of business process or other work that you're doing that you just don't want other people to know about necessarily. But the real power in this is if you share this, and that's why I've done this as a Google Doc. If you share this document with somebody else, oh, by the way, one of the important things to do is to share this as a duplicate so you don't write over things. But okay. But if you share this document with someone else, then they can see your progress as you go along. And in that 10-minute period, the 5 minutes at the end of the phase and the 5 minutes at the beginning of the next phase, you engage them in a Zoom call or a Skype call or some other conference call, FaceTime or whatever, because it's always good to see somebody's face. And you say, this is what I did in the last section. I felt like it worked. I felt like it didn't work. And this is what I did to be more effective. This is critical. If you can get 4, 5, 6 people doing this at the same time, you will be amazed at the amount of work that you will get done. Now, do you have to share all of this with everybody? But you can you can share with just 1 or 2 people. Again, go by your comfort zone. Go by what the sensitivity is of the work that you're doing. But the important thing is, by doing this, everyone else around that table becomes an accountability partner for you. And if you are looking to position yourself as a leader in the community, one of the things that I would suggest is that you be the person who spurs people to do this. Because if you do that, where you get is now you are the one who is bringing this to people, and you're helping them achieve what they need to achieve. So this is an important tool for folks. It is an important way in which you can get people around the table to work together and at the same time derive a lot of benefit for yourself. This is, a great gift. And if you do this, if you needed to, you could do this every day. I wouldn't recommend you do it every day. It's kind of exhausting. But it will help you, particularly as you're trying to figure out maybe the bigger prospects, the bigger objectives. You're trying to calendar. You're trying to develop your big projects. This can be an important way for you to define what those roles are and do some work and actually get a written roadmap of where you need to be. So those are some thoughts about how to use this product. I'll make it available in the Facebook group. And if you are interested in having a further discussion about it, by all means, reach out. Let's talk about it further. And with that, I'm going to stop the recording because we have some other things that we need to discuss.